today is Monday, May 19th, and today I was kind of just thinking about how a lot of times similar patterns of people's lives will, in different people's lives, they have the same pattern in their life because of who they are. The simplest, or kind of like a example I can give of this, is a very small one that I have noticed through sports, right? So if you know anything about baseball or softball, when you are fielding the ball and the ball is bouncing and rolling or whatever, a lot of times you can get a bad hop, which means it bounces super high and it's unexpected or whatever, right? But a long time ago, I heard something from some coach, and he was like, do you ever notice that the same people are always getting the bad hops, right? Because they're creating the bad hops and they're not in a proper position to be able to handle them, right? And that really left an impact on me, not only for the progression and my improvement in my sport, but also I've been thinking a lot about how the same is true for just our lives in general. A lot of times the people who complain are always the people who have things to complain about, kind of thing, and they have more things to complain about. Or the people who are angry always have the situations where they blow up, things like that, right? And I think a lot of times, especially with anger or complaining or honestly productivity, right? A lot of times if someone is unproductive, then they will continue through that pattern. It's like the Newton's law of motion, right? An object in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by an external force. So if you are unproductive, then you will continue that pattern of unproductiveness, right? But I guess the point here is that a lot of times we can create these unfortunate, undesirable situations for ourselves without realizing it, right? We're making it worse for ourselves. We're doing this to ourselves. And obviously I'm not saying I'm not blaming your problems on yourself, because a lot of things we cannot control. But with the things that we can control, I think a lot of times we can control ourselves in a way that makes the situation worse or creates a situation that didn't have to be there in the first place, right? So I would say just think about that a little more. I think for me with complaining, when you complain about something, or maybe if you're gossiping about someone, you don't like someone for a certain reason, you want to vent about it. A lot of these things that take up our head space, mind space, we're doing it to ourselves, right? If you feel frustrated about this person or whatever, and then you continually vent about it, and always when you interact with that person, you're always looking for something to vent about or whatever, or you're always looking for a negative piece of them, and then that just occupies your mind. You're doing that to yourself. But if instead you just were kind and didn't let this situation overtake everything, then it would not be such a big part of your mind, right? Or complaining about things. If you are constantly in these undesirable situations and you just complain about it and complain about it and complain about it, then you're gonna start to complain about the smallest things that you do not need to complain about. And you start to form this kind of sensitivity to these undesirable situations that then cause you to make it a bigger situation than it has to be, right? So I guess to simplify what I've said, don't create undesirable situations for yourself, and don't make small situations big. Don't overblow the negative things in your life, which can be really hard because I think, because I don't know why, but I think it is a lot easier to look at and see and focus on the negatives of life rather than on the positives, right? But I guess let's try to counteract that. Let's try to not do that. And let's try to not makes undesirable situations for ourselves worse, or just make undesirable situations for ourselves. Like a lot of like drama with like friends, or like I'm in high school, right? So there's like, oh, there's drama. But like a lot of drama is not actually drama. A lot of drama is just like a situation that is being created from nothing. Like it didn't, like it could have been prevented. It didn't have to be this way. But these like people will overblow the situation and make it a lot worse than it has to be, right? I think that is a really relatable example. A lot of drama isn't actually a serious situation. Now, I'm not trying to discredit your problems. I'm not trying to discredit your situations. I just think it's a good reminder and a good thing to think about. If you find yourself like constantly complaining, if you find yourself like, oh my goodness, why are all these horrible things happening to me? Try to look at it with a lighter perspective. Try to look at the positives. And if something is not directly impacting your life in a majorly positive or majorly negative way, if it doesn't have to affect your life, if it is not necessary for it to affect your life, if there's just this negative thing that's happening that you want to stop thinking about, that you don't want to affect you, then don't let it affect you, right? And don't make it a big deal. Just like if you need to like get something off your chest, then like journal. And like I do think that I'm not really sure about this. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, but I do think that sometimes ranting, or I guess just like getting things off your chest, can be helpful, but get it off your chest and let it stay off your chest, right? Just don't create these situations for yourself. Don't let these small things affect you. That's what I learned today. So if you found this video helpful, then I would love a like or a comment. If you want to see more, then definitely subscribe. This is the video I posted yesterday. You can subscribe in that corner. And if you subscribe, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.